I think everyone should be able to see it right now, slide 3 of the deck, and I'm going to hand it off to Gautam. Thanks again.
Great. Thank you, Marcus. So first of all, I would like to thank everyone at Hackensack for giving us the opportunity to demonstrate PeopleSoft 9.2 ELM. So before we dive into full demo, I just want to give you guys a brief overview of this product and kind of talk about the value proposition of what this learning solution brings to the table. So as you guys can see that it's a pure internet-based solution, and it does support mobile devices, mobile learning, and it can support variety of learners, for example, employees, suppliers, customers, or partners. It also supports many delivery methods. In PeopleSoft 9.2, PeopleSoft has put out a lot of Fluid, so mobile technology is called Fluid. And since you guys are an HR shop also, you probably have heard about it. Anyway, so different delivery methods such as webcast, sessions, like these are traditional classroom sessions, web-based delivery, and it is compliant with most of the industry standard content management softwares such as AICC or SCORM. You can also conduct assignments or tests, and you can also run some surveys once the training is done, for example, if you want to get a feedback of the instructor. So that's very high-level overview of the product. And so Keith, so Marcus, next slide. Can you please bring the next slide up, please? So as far as key benefits are concerned, it's basically, it gives you a lot of improvement in performance because it's pretty quick and effective deployment of the solution. It also improves workforce knowledge and skill set, just like any other LMS software. It also provides visibility and insight in companies' learning needs. It reduces costs in terms of streamlining and making the learning process efficient. And so one of the things that Michael mentioned earlier in the call that you guys are trying to bring many learning solutions together and kind of streamline different processes. So ELM is very seamlessly integrated with PeopleSoft HCM. And then it also provides third-party integrations with some of the webcasting softwares, content management vendors. And another thing is, since you guys already have PeopleSoft HR and you already have skill set in People Tools technology, so it also gives you another like leverage. There is no need to learn an external software. And as Marcus mentioned that ELM is a pretty stable product from PeopleSoft. I've seen PeopleSoft Financials and HR. They come out of something called PeopleSoft Images like very frequently. But as far as ELM is concerned, I don't see a lot of updates, so you don't have to like retest things over and over. So it's a pretty stable product. Having said that, I would like to pass the control over to Keith, who can go in more detail about the product, and then eventually Pradeep will do the rest of the functional features demo.
All right. Thanks, Gautam. So Keith, I just went ahead and passed the presenter and the mic to you. So whenever you're ready, you should be able to share your screen. Thanks.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name's Keith Harper, and I'm with Spear MC. Been with the firm for about 9 years now. And the portion, can everyone hear me okay? I should always ask that because I've droned on for 10 minutes. Great. Had to restart. Yeah. Good, thanks. So my piece of the presentation today, or the demo, is going to be limited. My primary domain expertise is in PeopleSoft Financials, but I've had the pleasure of being able to implement a lot of the newer features that have come with PeopleSoft over the last few years, specifically with the Fluid interface, which we talked about I think earlier it was mentioned by Jim about the importance of seeing different aspects of the systems by different roles, and we all know that users come with a variety level of skill set and experience, and PeopleSoft didn't always provide, and let me drag this guy down, and that was a quick preview, but I'm going to navigate over here. For those of you that are familiar with PeopleSoft, when you logged into the system, and you would typically be presented with a page like this. And if you can imagine, if you're someone that's new, you don't get in the system very much, you're in the general workforce, you're not online every day, but you're required to register for learning, this isn't the most user-friendly experience. Difficult to navigate around the system. You've got the breadcrumbs with the drilling menus, etc. So with the newer versions of all PeopleSoft applications, this is what's called classic navigation, and this is still here, and I would consider it more for your traditional day-to-day PeopleSoft user, system admin, someone that's doing PeopleSoft transactions all day long. They still have this feature. But as you saw from when I first logged in, and I think it was mentioned about how do users sign in, the landing page for sign in looks a little different, but pretty basic, user ID and password. And it was also mentioned during the requirements overview, single sign-on is supported within all PeopleSoft applications. So if you're on network already, it simply is clicking on a URL, just like you would any other website, and you would be navigated right into a landing page. So this looks quite a bit different, right? So this landing page is the new PeopleSoft Fluid UI, and this was introduced several releases back in terms of People Tools in 8.5.5, or one release back. Now the current release of People Tools is 8.5.6, and for those of you that don't know, when I say PeopleSoft, that's the application. When I say People Tools is the underlying software development framework that is used for all PeopleSoft applications. So whether you're using your HCM system, financials, or ELM, the language and the databases are all consistent, and all are supported by the same underlying technology, and are all sitting on top of, are being supported by this new Fluid UI. So in terms of this particular page, I think we discussed the idea of making sure we had role level navigation, and that is exactly what this is. So let me quickly just hop on as another user, and I'll go over some of these other features in a moment. So I'm going to log in as the admin of the system, for example. So as I logged in here, you see that the tiles that I have available to me are different. And I can see here, since I'm an admin, I have access to other home pages. So a home page is simply a place to place tiles, and tiles are quite simply just big buttons to navigate to PeopleSoft pages, versus that breadcrumb drill into folders, sort of confusing way of navigating. The home pages are a place where you would put for a user your most common transactions. So most people, when you ask them, oh, what do you use PeopleSoft? Well, I'm in financials, so they say, oh, I enter my time reports. Well, I create a requisition. Well, are those the only two things you do? Yeah, those are the only two things I do. So for the majority of your learners, you are probably only going to need one home page. So if I was logged back in as Michael Adams, or Adam Adams, he is an employee, he is required to see his class schedule. And when I click on these tiles, by example, when we get into the functionality of the system, Pradeep is going to take over. I'm really just talking about the new user interface. So he would only probably need to see a few tiles around his learning, perhaps find a course. And all of these tiles, if you will, they are 100% configurable. And what that means is a system administrator can very easily tweak the tiles that are showing up on a user's landing page, whether it be an instructor, an employee, an external learner, or a system administrator. And the system administrator may not even want to log in and land on this page. They may simply want to land on the classic page because they have a lot of different functions to perform. So, but in a nutshell, the tiles that you want to put on a user's landing page would be tiles that take you to pages that are fluid. So Fluid is PeopleSoft's new navigation platform and page called form function layout. So for those of you that use HCM, and I'm not sure what version of HCM you're on, or for those of you that have been PeopleSoft users for quite some time, this navigation look and feel is quite improved. The form factor is large. It is more current, and it takes PeopleSoft into the 2000s. And the main thing, as Gautam recommend around this, is fluid pages are for mobile, which means when I click on my enrollments, this page, even though you can see here it renders just fine on my laptop, it will also render on a mobile device, whether it is in horizontal or vertical mode. It will render on a tablet. It is designed for touch. The links are much bigger. There are buttons. The widgets are larger. The header buttons are larger. So the other thing, for those of you that are technical that are are on the call, the PeopleSoft underlying fluid pages that were developed in PeopleTools, many of them are designed for the desktop use, whereas the items are smaller, the links are smaller, the fields where you enter information are much smaller. Any of the existing PeopleSoft pages that is not currently fluid can be converted to fluid if you desire to do that. And there is some technical work involved in that, but many of the what I would consider self-service pages, or most of the self-service pages that learners or instructors, those that are the light users, would need to get into, are already delivered in fluid. But you do have the ability to convert other pages to fluid where it makes sense. So in terms of the home pages itself, you probably, when most customers roll out, you're just going to see one home page here, which it's going to open on the only home page there is. If you want, you can also extend the ability to allow users to customize their home page. And sometimes, like for example, the client I'm working at now in Hawaii, and it's not all sunshine, it's raining at the moment, you have the ability to allow users to personalize their home page if you want, or just give them fixed tiles. So if you see here any tile with an X, I have granted this user the ability to remove that tile from their home page. And just think, you can do this while on a mobile device and tablet. You also, if you extend the system and you've rolled out a lot of fluid tiles, you can actually give the user the ability to add other tiles. That tile already exists, but they can actually add let me find one here that's not, let's go pop on it. Here's the one for announcements. Can actually add those tiles to their home page. They can move them around if you want to give them that access. But to start out, you may just want to give them fixed tiles, and it's role-based. So each of these home pages is available only if they're enrolled for that particular homepage. And these tiles simply navigate to PeopleSoft pages that have been designed in Fluid and will display correctly and render correctly on a mobile device. So that's a very high-level overview of the new navigation at just from getting into the system and going from page to page. Many of the pages that Pradeep and Gautam will be presenting you may see some pages in Fluid. That means that they will render correctly on a mobile device. You may see some in Classic, which means they're really intended to be used by an administrator or someone that's in the system quite a bit, and it's typically pages where there's a lot more transactional information on the page that's not really right for mobile. All right, so now I want to hop over, and the other piece I was going to speak about before I turn it over for the more of a functional demo is enterprise search. And actually, I should say search framework. So several releases back, Oracle PeopleSoft released a search technology called Secure Enterprise Search, or SES. And since Tools 855, or the platform before 856, which is what this environment is running on, we have it's Elasticsearch. And Elasticsearch is an open source search engine that is utilized by PeopleSoft. And essentially, I think of it as search just like you're on Amazon. So what you do is the user, if you're on a mobile device, the user can simply click on, and I picked the wrong one. I'll talk about these indexes in a moment. So let's just, and you'll see the difference here. So I was on learning, the search index for Learning Fluid. You probably won't name it Learning Fluid. You can name these indexes whatever you want. But for the purposes of this demo, you may just roll out the Fluid search capability. So let's say, for example, I want to see all of the courses that are related to nursing. I would simply click on the search icon on my mobile device, or I can still be on my desktop, it doesn't matter. And you would probably want to set it up with just one index, because those search categories or the indexes that someone sees are security enabled as well. So for the general user, you may just have one index. So you see here that what came up for me was a list of courses that have nursing somewhere within the course curriculum or instruction. You see here on the left as well, categorization. So this categorization is really an index that sits behind the scenes that says that you set up and you say, when I perform a search, I want data within that search criteria to be organized into groups and categories. Those groups and categories, then you can further drill into them based on the results that are returned on the left. There normally is a little icon or a little number by these that would say, for example, if there were multiple learning types that fell within the search results, I would see that there's two different blended learning types. Let me log on to as a separate user to see if I can get more results. There are also the Elasticsearch. You don't necessarily have to use the icon at the top, but there's also a tile that's been built. And I'll talk about these tiles just real quickly in a moment before I turn it over. There's Elasticsearch field right in on a tile that a user doesn't have to click on there. So for when I type in People Tools here, I get even more categorization and I see different learning types. So the PeopleSoft comes delivered, or the PeopleSoft ELM comes delivered with many pre-built indexes that you can, that are implemented out of the box. There's indexes for courses, indexes for learning types. There's about a dozen different indexes that can be built. So from a technical perspective, you probably have to set up another session just to talk about how Elasticsearch is configured. But for now, the idea is you do a simple search, just like your online shopping, brings up a list of the results by category, and then all of the results always will navigate you to a transactional page where the user can perform or see the information they want. And also note, when you're in a Fluid, when you're doing a Fluid search and you enable just the Fluid learning indexes, you'll always be navigated to a Fluid page so that it always renders correctly on their mobile device. So, so one more quick thing. I wanted to talk about the tiles. So as I said before, these tiles are, there's many tiles delivered out of the box, mainly for Fluid pages that render correctly on mobile. If you want, you can also create your own tiles that navigate to other traditional PeopleSoft Classic pages. There's what's called a tiled wizard. It's basically just a self-guided train stop where you select a picture, you select a page, you select what home page you want to put it on, and boom, the tile is there. And then also from a security standpoint, any tiles that you would see on your home page, you only see those tiles for those items which you have security access for. So all of the same PeopleSoft underlying security that your security admins are already used to, the same rules apply, and the same folks that do that work can also do all the security for Fluid in the same user interface. And one last thing. So if you saw up here this little guy, and this is global throughout the system, whatever page you're on, you see this little notification icon. So this little guy, if I had some new notifications, I'd have the little red bubble here that says I've got 2 or 3 notifications. When I'm on a mobile device, this is going to display at the top of my iPhone. And here you'll see I've got some alerts. So you can have what's called action type of notifications, and these would be for workflow types of things. For example, if I'm an administrator and I have to approve a learner, approve a new course, whatever the delivered workflows are, I would see those here. Alerts are more for like confirmations of enrollment, confirmations of requesting a new class. Whatever triggered-based alert you want to create by role, those would show up here. In addition to, the system is also enabled now in Tools 856 for SMS messaging as well, if configured, and the messages would be different. So many ways to automate communications now to learners, email, text message, or come into the app and actually see the alerts icon on your desktop. And finally, you can see here there are tiles for alerts as well. So if I were a manager and I have to provide approvals, for example, to one of my employees to attend a class, I would see here all of the approvals that are pending, and I would be navigated in here to a workflow item. And so I think that gives a real quick overview of the navigational features within the new UI. So I'm going to pass it over, I believe, to Pradeep and Gautam that are going to.
Hi, can I ask a question? Michael. Yeah, it's Michael. Yeah. I noticed that you were using a link in the upper right corner. If I'm signed on as either, let's say, a leader or somebody who possesses multiple permission roles, I don't have to, there's a quick drop down where I can select to switch to different roles. So if I need to switch back as a learner to see what that view looks like, if I've customized something, or if I need to switch back to my admin role, I can?
Yeah, so right here. So okay. All of these, I've just got different roles here, and you could just say maybe you have a home page for each role. I would see these home pages based on my security. So most employees, they're learners as well as managers perhaps. So they could see both tiles. If you wanted to, you could create a manager home page that has roles or buttons for their manager items as well as learning things. I think what you'll find is most people only need 5 or 6 tiles, okay? And you can make those all role-based. You'll only see what you're authorized to see, okay?
Yep. Thank you.
Did I answer your question? Yep.
Yep. And then, oh, go ahead. Somebody else have another question? Okay. I have another question. You also, if I am logged on as my administrator account, if I need to, let's say, log in as a user, using that user's credentials or using that user's profile, do I have any kind of a function where I can now see what it looks like to that user or go in as them?
Yeah, certainly if you were, usually an admin is going to see, would be able to see all of the home pages that are available to all the different types of users. To log actually in as that person, typically you would have a test and a dev system that you would test security in, and then not provision those user IDs to the admin. So typically when we make adjustments, we'll do them in a dev system, and then we'll push them over to prod. There is a new technology called I'm drawing a blank. There's a migration workbench. There's a new migration workbench which allows you to now do all of your configurations for different roles in security, set up the portal with the new tiles, and then within a click of a button, push those to other environments. But that's a whole nother demo.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Wait, it's Elizabeth. Can I just jump in? Can you clarify? Did you say that we can go in as an administrator to a team member's account and go in as if we are them?
You would only want to do that in a test environment. But the administrators typically do not have security access to log in as another user. What I was saying is say you're an admin, you can grant yourself as an admin this employee self-service page. I can't get into another employee's information, but I could see what this page is going to look like to say an instructor, because I have access to this page, not necessarily the underlying data. Does that clear things up a little bit?
We're able now to jump in as them. We have our own codes. We can go in and see if someone tells us that they're stuck and they can't move past a certain page, a certain test, a certain video, we can jump in as them and see exactly where they're stuck, and we can at least then, unstick them. We can rectify the problem, or we can tell them what to do.
Got it. Yeah, there's really no reason at all why you couldn't set up some separate support security IDs with authority to see what the learner is. You could keep that same model in place. And it's the same permissionless and row-level security architecture that you deal with now with HCM.
So is that a yes?
So, yes, a yes. There's no reason why you couldn't do what I understand you're doing. You could still do that. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. I think now.
All right, Keith. That was great. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to, the key to the demo will be to pass this over. So am I passing this to Pradeep?
Yes. You're going to pass presenter. He's already got the mic because we didn't do a global mute. So all you got to do is just pass presenter to Pradeep. Then once he's on, then everyone else can just go back on mute again.
Okay, I think I've done it. Pradeep, do you have it?
Yeah, thank you, Keith.
Before you go, I'm so sorry. Can I just, it's Sandra, I just have a quick question. So I apologize, I looked up for a moment. There's something going on in my hallway here. Did you say that there wouldn't be an issue? So is it built right now that we could just go in and we could look at somebody else's work and help guide them through, or is that like an add-on, or you need to build that at thought maybe you said no at
No,
first, and then
you should.
no, we could do it.
You,
That stopped?
well, so are you logging in now as another user and actually looking at their schedule and their classes and their results, or you're saying you could set up a separate user ID, say you're an administrator. If someone's having problems, you could set up a learner user ID, for example, and log in using that user ID and see all of the same pages, perhaps launch a course that they're trying to access, and be able to guide them through. So the answer is yes.
So it's built that way. So right from day one, it's built that way. Like I can go in and right from day one, stop. Okay, good.
Yep. Yep.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Pradeep, do you have it?
Yep. Thank you, Keith.
Okay.
Hi, this is Pradeep Bomizeti. So thank you all. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mike. And thank you, Gautam. And thank you, Keith, for the brief intro for ELMS. So I'll be taking through the functional demo for ELM. I think I don't have the rights. I mean, presenter rights. Can you give me the presenter rights?
Let me see, change role. Well, hey Keith, were you able to change his role? All right. Okay, Pradeep, I'm passing presenter privileges to you. You should be able to view your screen, or make your screen available for viewing.
Yeah, so I think that just folks on the call, be careful. I think this meeting is set up where you can take the ball. So maybe someone accidentally took the ball. So.
Yeah, so Pradeep, you should be able to share your screen.
Okay, let me check that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I can see that now. Thank you.
All right, perfect. Perfect, you're welcome.
Yeah. So can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Yes.
All right, thank you. So, okay, let me go through the slide now. All right. So now I'm presenting the deck, so everyone can see the deck, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So thank you, Keith, again. I think that that was a pretty good demo for UI, and few more tiles explanation as well. So I'll be taking you through these decks, and back and forth, I'll be showing the application as well. So for example, now I will tell you what is employee self-service and how it looks like in ELM in the decks. Once I complete the deck, I will take you through the application and I'll show you the demo. Okay. Once the demo is completed, I'll pause for a few seconds for the questions. Okay. So for ELM 9.2, there are multiple roles which are key in ELM. You know, one is employee self-service, other one is manager self-service, and the learning instructor and administrator. So these are the four key roles which we'll be using on our day-to-day activities. Okay. So apart from that, after the explaining the roles, I'll be taking you through how the enrollment process works in ELM and how can an employee or a, managers or an admin can drop the enrollments. So what kind of enrollments we have, like, self-enrollment, that is by employee, and enrollment by managers. So managers can also enroll the team members through employee manager self-service. The other option what we have is group enrollment. This will be done by the administrators, learning administrators. And the next option is mass enrollment. Mass enrollment is an enhanced feature of group enrollment. Like, group enrollment is for 30 to 40 learners. They can enroll in a group for a course or class. A mass enrollment is more than 30 or 40, So if it is hundreds, 200 to 300 learners, you want to enroll for a single course, then you use mass enrollment feature to enroll. Okay, and the next option what we have is automatic enrollments. So I'll take you through what is automatic enrollments in the next slides. I'm just giving the overview what I'm going to talk in the next few slides. The next option is automatic drop. Okay, so these are the next few. This is what I'm going to explain in the next few slides. Okay. So as I explained earlier, ELM 9.2 has these 5 roles: employee, manager, instructor, administrator, and external learners. Okay. So as Keith already shown you, this is the learning tile, which is the basic learning tile which will be given access to the employees. So learning tile is just a combination of multiple tiles. It's a kind of mini dashboard for the employees. So employees can click the learning tile, and accordingly they can access. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. So once they click this learning tile, then they can navigate to rest of the tiles here, as Keith shown here in the previous demo. So these are the tiles which an employee can access in their employee self-service page. So if you see here, the Find Learning and My Learning, plans and objectives and announcements. Apart from this, you can add a new tiles as well. Okay, based on the whether it's a delivered page or if you want to add a custom page also, you can do that. Okay. So from the learning dashboard, what we can do is we can find learning. Find learning is the functionality where you can search the courses which have been accessed to. Like for example, HR department employees will be accessing only HR department related courses. And if you want to give organization related courses, then you add this HR department employees to organization related specific learner group. Then they can access both HR department related courses as well as organization specific courses as well, like that. So they can search all these courses based on the access they have been provided. Okay. So Find Learning is about searching the courses and enrolling the courses, and after enrollment they can launch the courses, or they can when I say launch, it's a webcast. If it is a classroom session, they have to attend the classroom sessions. Okay. So My Learning is once you enroll from Find Learning, you see those enrollments in your My Learning page. Okay. And plans and objectives are nothing but objectives, like if you want to add new objectives which are not part of your profile, then you can add them through plans and objectives page. That is objectives. Learning plans is nothing but a new course if you want to enroll, but as you have tight timelines and if you want to enroll them into the future, the next 3 months or 4 months, if you want to add them, and you can add them into your learning plans. So that once you add them to learning plans, then you can go ahead and enroll in later stage also. Okay. So announcement style is about organization specific announcements or your group specific announcements. So if you have to complete some courses, administrator posts some announcements in the announcement style so that they can see that they have to complete XYZ course by so and so time frame. Once you hit that announcement tab, they can see the details of the announcement. It's a pretty good feature in 9.2 which helps employees keep them close to identify what they're due for. So this is employee self-service style. I'll take you through each slide. If you see here, My Learning. So as I explained earlier, My Learning tile is used in both desktop as well as mobiles or tablets and Fluid. So in My Learning, what you can do is you can enroll, you can drop, or you can modify your learning programs or courses. You can view the courses, and you can launch directly from My Learning. And once you complete those courses, there are a few courses which need course completion certifications also. If you want to print, you can print them through My Learning. Okay, I'll take you through that again in the demo when I show.
Dr. Stein, 5701. Dr. Stein, 5701.
I think someone is not on mute. Okay. So if you see here on the screen, you can see both current and plan and history as well. Current is nothing but which are due, And planned is which are, in future if you want to enroll, as I explained earlier, if you want to enroll in the programs or courses in the future, you can see them in the plan. And history is nothing but the completed courses, completed or denied or, canceled courses. If you want to see there, you can see that in historical. So find learning, as I explained here, you will find the courses using this functionality. Okay, so you can search at global level, as as we explained earlier. You can search the courses at global level, or your specific to organization courses also you can search and find learning. Any questions on this? Okay.
Hey, Pradeep, that's fine. I think too that, and I know you're going to go in and actually demo this too, but I know that that's what they're really interested in seeing too. How this actually looks and feels in the system.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll show you that. Yeah, thanks. So yeah, as I explained earlier, the overview of the tiles, I'll take you through the
okay.
application.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. No problem. So as I'm explaining employee self-service, I'll take you through employee self-service pages. So if you see here, I have only employee self-service role. If you see here, once I log into system, it directly takes me to the employee self-service learning tile dashboard. Okay, so learning tile is nothing but a combination of mixed tiles. You can, once you click that, you access rest of the tiles what access you've been provided to. So as explained earlier, announcements tile, once you hit the tile, you can see the announcements posted here. So all new employees must complete the enrollment survey. Once you hit that, you see the information like this. Okay, so I'm not taking you through in detail because this is a demo application, so there is no data available here. Okay, so you can see the information regarding the announcements. If it is survey related, you just need to click the survey application. Okay, if it's just announcement, you just see the text. Okay, so that is about announcement style. And the next one is My Learning. So My Learning is, as I explained earlier, if you want to enroll or drop, you can see those courses here. If you want to drop, you can drop, and sorry, not enroll. If you want to launch or drop to the enroll courses, you can do that activity through current learning. Okay, so these are the courses. Once you hit the course information, you can see the course details page. Okay, this is just a brief overview of the course information. If you hit more, then you see what kind of sessions you have in those courses, on which date and who is the instructor, and what location is the training is going to be provided. And if you have the, if you want to see the view map information, you click the view map information. Okay, it's not integrated now, but if you want, you can integrate later stage. Okay, and what else? So the next thing is view additional details of course information. If you see this page, you see the general information of the course. What kind of delivery method is? It's a classroom training. And who is the contact person for this training? You can see the name of that contact person. And who is the instructor? What is the cost of each seat? And what is the drop charge? If any employee drops in between, and if you want to charge that business unit or department, then you can charge that department by mentioning the drop charges. And for every enrollment in the organization, for each and every learner, for each and every course they enroll to, they will have a confirmation number. Okay. So what is the course abstract? You can see that information, and what kind of objectives you're going to meet after the completion of the course. You'll see those objectives. Okay. This is not a required field, but if you want to show and if you want to add the objectives to each and every course, you have to do that. Okay. Then only those objectives will be met. So as I explained earlier, what is the payment details and how we are going to pay back them. Okay. So this is my course details information page. Any questions on this?
Pradeep, on the previous page, you had courses there that had the built for learners the ability to drop the course.
Yes.
Not all courses may be allowed for people to drop. So if they did not have the ability to drop, it would not even list that there, correct?
Yes.
What's the name of the company?
Administrative professional subject.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. If you want to don't give the access to drop, then you don't give the access to the learners. If you give the access, you can give the access to them.
Excellent. Okay, now I also noticed right underneath the words current learning, there's 3 buttons on how you can view these courses. Right now you have them probably untiled. What are the other options?
So the other options are like, detailed views. This is tile, status, date, course name, what kind of course type it is, what kind of action you have to take. If you want to drop, you can drop, and if you have to click the arrow, then you can go to the specific course information details, as I shown earlier.
Great, thank you.
And you can see if you want to add to a calendar, just try to click add to calendar, so that gives you a reminder. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Send that to.
All right.
What calendar does that send that to?
What challenges? I'm sorry, Mike. Can you repeat that?
So what calendar does that send it to? My Outlook
it's
calendar?
Outlook calendar. Yeah. Just Outlook calendar.
Yeah, like an iCal file?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
So there is complete integration between, I will take you through those decks as well. We have integration with ELM, with Outlook also. I'll take you through detailed information on the Outlook integration in the later stages. Once I complete this, I'll take you through that as well.
No problem, that's fine. I just want to make sure it goes to it says iCal file, that's fine. That's all I need to know.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Yeah, so the next option is filter option. If you learners may have hundreds of courses to the current learning, and if they want to filter those courses, then they can use this functionality, filter courses. Then based on the type, they can classroom courses or web-based training or blended learning. Based on the enrollments they have been into, those filter types will be displayed here. For example, if a learner is enrolled only to the 10 classroom trainings, then he'll see classroom trainings, like that. Okay. So when he can complete, based on the timelines, it will show up here. For the next 1 month you have to complete, then you have to click courses which are in due in next 1 month. You can click that and you can see them and access them. Okay.
And all of that information is based upon the course that we've developed.
Yes, courses you've been developed and course you've been enrolled to, the employees enrolled to. Yeah.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah. So, and you can see the different statuses as well. Few courses employees will be enrolled to, but they are on wait list. For example, the course has a strength of 20 learners only for the course, and the administrator says that he wants to give 5 additional waitlist access. For example, if any employee drops off and the other interested parties want to enroll into the courses, those people will be in the waitlist status. Once the existing learners drops, then those waitlisted learners will automatically move to enrollment status based on first come first served. Okay. I think I can hear a lot of background noise. Can someone
if I can ask you to please hold on a minute. Whoever has their phone that is still open, can you please mute that line? We hear children running in the background. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mike, for that. So as I explained here, current learning, you can see different types of tiles here. The detailed view and a basic view and the filters. If you see here the planned courses, in future they want to plan it, as explained earlier, by when they have to complete it by September 21st, 2018. And what are the enrollment options they have? You can see here. If they want to remove, they can remove from the plan. Okay. If you hit the course, again you can see the same course details information. So what kind of components, learning components they have in the course. So whether it's web-based training, whether it's a classroom training, or whether it is classroom training or blended learning. So you can see all those learning components. Once you hit the course information, you can see that stuff here. Okay. Again, if you see here, it shows enrollment is open, and if you hit enroll, automatically the learner can be enrolled. Okay, you have successfully enrolled into a course. Once you hit this button, go to course, then automatically takes you to the course information page, like this. So you can see the My Course Progress. So all the courses which have been enrolled are web-based courses. Okay. So they can hit.
Pradeep, you mentioned earlier then when the person is on the wait list, if somebody else is dropped out of the roster, and let's say I get moved over from the wait list to the class roster, do you have email notification distribution that automatically occur?
Yes, Mike. You'll get a notification for every phase. Once you enroll, you'll get a confirmation number with acknowledgement that you have been enrolled. And if you're on wait list, you will get a status, an email notification that you're on wait list. From wait list to enrollment, then again, you'll get a notification.
Excellent, excellent. But the other question I have for you is, as an admin, do I have the ability to customize those communications?
The notification templates, yes, admins can modify the notification templates.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, it's Elizabeth. Do you give a notification on a weekly? Right now we have 7 days away, 3 days away from the class, reminders automatically sent?
Mm-hmm. See, the notification process, the batch process which you're talking about, an ad hoc notification, a weekly or 1 day prior or 3 days prior. There are so many new notification templates which have been developed by PeopleSoft in ELM. You can use them and you can schedule them based on your requirement.
Okay.
Yeah. So, for example, if you see here, this Introduction to Information Security course is a web-based course. If you click Launch, it will take you to the particular website. If it is a URL which is attached to that course, then you will go to the URL. If it is a content which has been attached to the course, then you directly access that content and you can access the course. Okay, that is how you do it. And at any time, if you want to drop the course, just hit drop so that it can be dropped from that particular learning. Okay. So once you hit the drop, you'll be dropped as an employee. Okay. If you see, these are the delivery method options which have been displayed here. These are all our self-based learnings. Okay. You can use the filter to minimize and expand those courses. So as I explained earlier, current learning, these are the current learning functionalities about. And the next feature is planned learning. I've explained to you how the planned learning works. You can click the course information, then you can enroll into specific learning component, then you can access the course. Okay. And the next feature is history. So as I explained earlier, the best advantage feature, the best feature what our class provided is, if you want to go back to your history and if you want to redo the course which you want to, which is an online course, and if you want to do it online, then you can go ahead and straight away click launch and redo the course from your history components as well. Just to brush up, if you want to brush up some functionalities from the previous courses, you just click launch from the history so that you can redo the courses. It's a pretty good feature which will help you to keep on your toes on the functionalities which you want to learn.
And Pradeep, how does a learner print their own transcript?
Okay, I'll show you that as well. So once you hit this, for example, I think let me take you through that. I just see the completed. Okay. I think I missed out that. I'll get back to you on that, Mike. How the feature works. I'll take your screenshot and send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Can we go into what it looks like from a leader or manager's point of view?
Yeah, I'll take you through one by one. First, I'll show you the employee self-service. Once that is done, I'll take you through manager self-service. Now I'll explain how the employee self-service works like. I've shown you the My Learning and announcements and Find Learning and plans and objectives. So now I'll take you through manager self-service, how the manager page looks like and what kind of tasks that can a manager do. I'll show you that. So this is a manager self-service home page. So if you see the home page, you have both access. A manager can have both access, employee self-service as well as a manager self-service. So I want to show you the manager self-service access. So there are 3 tiles. These are the 3 delivered tiles what a manager has. If you want to add new tiles, you can add, and if you want to remove, you can remove them. So the first tile is approvals. So this is about a workflow tile. You know, all the pending approvals will be displayed here for the managers. Okay. So if you see here, all the notification, all the workflows will be displayed in pending approvals. As Keith explained earlier, if you see this notification template, you can see Actions tab. Under Actions tab, you see 4 AWE workflows pending for approval. And alerts are just information purpose. This doesn't have any workflows related information. So once you hit this, it will take you to that specific approval transaction page. If you see here, you can see the enrollment summary from the pending approvals page. The course info description, you can see it, and the class information. If you want to see the class information, just click that tab. You see the class information, what kind of objectives this particular learner is going to meet. You can see that, and what is the course abstract, you can see the information. Okay. And if you want to write any approval comments, you can write approval comments. And the next option what you see is who are there in this approval chain. If you click this link, you can see the approval chain here. Okay. The start new path is nothing but, you know, you can reroute the workflow. Okay. And the standard path, this is the regular workflow which you see here, and who is going to approve it. You can see the name of the person, and if you hit that person details, you can see the personal information here. Okay. And the best option, other option what you have is add an ad hoc approver. Okay. So if you want to add an ad hoc approver, you can add on what kind of access you want to see. If you want to give an approver access, then he or she will be part of approval workflow. It's just a reviewer, you know, they don't approve it, just they review it. Okay, they will be not part of approval workflow, but they'll have an information notification saying that, you know, this particular course I'm going to approve for so-and-so employee. Okay.
And this is designed or selected by that individual leader. When they're, let's say, going on LOA, leave of absence, or they're going on vacation, they can select somebody else to approve or review on their behalf?
Yes, you can do that.
Okay. And
it's called delegation. PeopleSoft has provided delegation access. Delegation approval process request can be taken care either in HCM or in ELM also.
Okay. Is there a certain time limit on how long that lasts? Is it by the leader when they come back from the vacation, they can turn it off?
Yeah, delegation is like, you know, you can set the start time and end time. So when you initiate the delegation request and who is going to approve and from when to when this particular employee is going to handle, you know, his or her request, they can mention the start date and end date for the delegation.
Okay. And that review, that delegate person, they're notified by email from the system. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So once you hit insert, you know, that particular person will be part of approval workflow request. Okay. So if you want to approve it, just you can go ahead and straight away click approve, or if you want to deny, you can deny the request. Okay. So you have approved the request. This is how a manager can approve the enrollments for an employee. Okay, I'll take you through the next level approval page once I complete this. Okay, or else I can show you this right away. I'll log in as a second level manager because I have an added Betty as an ad hoc approver. Right, I'll show you that how it looks like. If you see here, you can see those approvals here. Okay, you can approve that employee from this page. If you want to see the approval chain, you can see the approval chain here. You can see who has inserted it. Okay, and accordingly you can approve the request.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. So this is the ad hoc approval page. I'm logging back in as a manager. So that is how the approval functionality works in ELM. Okay, you can see the number of learnings. If you want to approve on group, you can do that. You know, a mass approval kind of feature. If you want to approve all the courses together, you can do that. Or if you want to do an individual specific course, then you can have to. You just need to select a particular course and just go ahead and approve it. So any questions on AWE? Okay. So I'll move on to the next style, that is team learning. So team learning is a combination of multiple tiles and pages access you have. For example, if a manager wants to view all the learnings of his or her team members, he needs to select all team members and click view learning. You'll see a message, just a warning message. It's not an error message. You can see all the team members' courses here. Okay. On what kind of statuses they have, you can see it. Okay, and if you want to navigate to the in detail of that particular course information, just click arrow. I'm sorry for that. Okay, let me refresh it. Looks like the page is loading. So this is a demo application, so it's taking some time. You can go to individual learners.
So Pradeep, we can move on to a different feature right now.
Okay, yeah. So that's what I explained it. So you can see all the team members together, or you can go to a specific team member and view the learnings. The page looks like same as the current enrollment page, which I shown you earlier. They can see the detailed information of each specific learning course. Okay. So team members, you can see the team members information page. This is a classic page again. It will be navigated from Fluid to Classic. Okay, you can see the team learnings, pending approvals again, and the team member information. If you want to go to a specific component, select the individual team members together and what kind of action you want to perform. You want to add learning objectives, or if you want to add learning plans, and if you want to add a supplemental learning or team learning, you just select that and you can go ahead and see it. Okay. So learning plans and objectives are explained. Supplemental learning is nothing but an additional feature where, for example, if the learners goes to an external trainings or external conferences, and if they want to record that in the organization on by themselves, then they use the supplemental learning feature so that they can record those information in their system in employee self-service. So that if it is which is related to organizations, for example, if an employee goes out for Oracle Worldwide Developer Conference and it is not part of your organization objectives, then once he completes the course and if he feels that it's an added advantage to his career or his learning hours, then he can add that under supplemental learning. Okay, so this is how a manager can navigate in group or individually to a specific action. Okay, if they want to select the certification status, just click go. If you click the individual go, it will go to individual employee. If you want to go back to a group, then you need to select or select the action here and click enroll and go. So they can see by default, they can see all the courses which have been assigned to that group. You can select an individual specific course, or as we explained earlier, based on the filter type, like, based on learning type, if it is a classroom or if it is a blended learning or if it's a webcast learning. If you want to enroll to those learners, you have to select a specific course and then click, enroll. If you want to just add it, if you don't want to add those courses right away and you just want to add those courses in the future, just like for planned learning, then you have to click plan for later, so that in future learners can enroll into those courses. Okay. And you see the basic search and advanced search here. If you use the advanced search, you will have the filter options. Okay, from which date to which date you want to select the courses, and from which location related courses, you can filter those locations again. So you can select those locations and search, and based on the course, based on selection of the location, you'll see the search results in the Find Learning page. Okay. Again, learning type, if you want classroom or web-based, you can see that as well. Again, if you see here, there are additional fields like title and course code, description, and these are self-explanatory. Instructor information is nothing but if you want to enroll your team members specific to one XYZ instructor related course, you can select a particular instructor and you can search those courses. Okay, I'm not going in detail, I'm just showing you the high level how their functionality works like. And the new 9.2 feature is this ratings field. So what is the advantage of using this ratings field is whenever the learners enroll and complete the courses, they give the ratings to the specific course. Based on the ratings provided by the learners, those courses will be aligned into those particular stars. If you click 4-star courses, you'll see only 4-star courses. Okay, and again, this has a control to the administrators. So for example, learners can give any kind of comments or any kind of rating. Then if someone has to have a control on those comments or reviews or ratings, then administrator will have the control on them, and based on the comments provided or based on the ratings he provided, he can delete those or he can add those to the public. Okay, so administrator has the full control on the ratings field. If you want to give this access, you can give it. If not, they can remove that. Any questions on this, team members and the Find Learning?
No. How would a leader generate that? Go back to the completions. How does the leader generate reports on that?
Leaders reports, I think you can give the reports access to the specific report. You don't have those, reports access under Manager Self-Service, but if you give an additional access like learning administrator or leader, you can create a new role to them and you can attach those reports to those roles so that they can access those reports from that particular page. Did I answer your question, Mike?
I think so. So you basically mentioned that leaders cannot generate reports from here, that they would have to do it through MSS?
Yes, they have different reports access. For example, for the current courses and only for the current team members, if you want to see what kind of status they are in, then they go to learning compliance here. Okay, only specific to the team members. Okay.
Right.
When you hit the learning compliance, if you see here, I have selected this sexual harassment in the workplace course, and I can see the report here.
Correct.
Okay, how many have been completed and in progress, enrolled, and completed?
Right, now that's based on only one course. What about if I have 10 courses or 20 courses in a curriculum?
If you want to see the curriculum, then you can see the curriculum. For example, if you see a program, if you select the program, the entire program information. A program can be a combination of 10 courses and 2 programs also. So if you want to see the status, you can see the status as well here.
Okay, now if they click on the pieces of who's in progress or who's not completed, does that drill it down to give the exact names?
Not exactly, I'll show you that. For example, if you see here, not enrolled, there are 32 learners. If you want to drill down and learner type and job title, you can see those learners here. If you see here, The job title also you can see how many accountants has completed the course and how many analysts has completed this course. You can see that. Again, if you want to view a different, let me show you that also.
So Mike, this is Gautam. So if there is any report that's not delivered by PeopleSoft or Oracle, we can develop those also, because reporting is pretty powerful tool with, as Pradeep is showing, it's something called simplified analytics. So we can develop reports and we can also build drill down features in it.
If you see here, yeah, thank you Gautam for that. So if you see the detailed view, you can see the learner ID, learner name, and what is manager name, what is the confirmation number. You can see the detailed information of that particular learner. Similarly,
Okay.
if you have a bunch of learners, you can see all the learner information here.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So again, if you want to see in different types of chats here, you can see that, and you know. So in multiple ways, you can see the report output through a graphical representation. Okay. So any questions on this compliance reports? Okay. So I explained learning compliance and approach, but I haven't completed team learning. I'll show you what are the other features you have. So I have shown you team members. Explained earlier. Any questions on team members page?
Nope.
All right, thank you. So find learning, I already shown you how the find learning works and what are the features you have. The rest of the features are common. Learning type, as already Keith has explained this stuff. I just want to highlight this new feature and the advantage of that, so I explained it. And if you want to update the team learnings, you have to go to this update team learning page. Okay, if you want to drop, you can drop it, or if you want to enroll, you can enroll them straight away here from this course, this page, sorry. Okay. If you see here, individual learners information is also posted here, or if you want to see all the learners information, just click all learners. Okay. And certification status, team learning objectives, all are same features. You know, if you want to see the certification status of a particular program, you can see that. View history. You hit view history, you can see the complete information. Okay. So if you want to recertify that specific learner, you can just click recertify to do that, so that they have to you know, re-enroll to the course, and they have to complete it, and then have to get the certification.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there a way we can switch? We do have to have a hard stop at 4 o'clock,
okay.
And we would still like to see what course development for an instructor, as well as some admin information as well.
Sure, I'll do that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So these are the features what a manager has. So I'm done with manager self-service. If anyone has any questions, you can stop me. Okay. So I'll take you through the instructor page again. So again, instructor also has multiple access: employee self-service and learning instructor. If you click learning instructor, so these are the 3 delivered tiles access a learning instructor will be provided. So when you hit view schedule, you know, they can have access to the schedule they have been assigned to. So the learner, the instructor can see by daily or weekly or monthly or by all. Okay. So if you want to see the information, like, you know, what session he is going to train, then he need to click the session roster information. You can see the session information, session name, and class code. And if you see the information of the learners, you can see the learner information. It's just nothing but a roster for the instructors. And if you see, there is an option called print roster, so that they can carry the printed document to the class, and then they can get the sign, and then they can feed the information here, you know. So the instructors has multiple options. One is grading the learners once the course is completed. So this is the print roster feature. Okay. So for example, one course may have multiple sessions in a day. So for each session, they may have multiple instructors also. If you want to see that information, you can add that instructor information. If there is only one instructor, you can see that information also. Like, you know, class name, class code, and number of session, and if it is 15 sessions they have, So session 1, session 2, and start time, end time, and date and number of learners enrolled. Okay, and facility and the room number. Everything is printed over here. They just need to sign in and sign out. This is the overview of the roster. Okay. So they have 15 sessions, so it will be all 15 sessions will be printed in the print roster feature.
Hey, Pradeep, is that roster customizable as far as what fields are included? I see you have the ID number and learner name.
Gautam, just yes, Mike. I think we can do this. You know, these are BI publisher templates, and these templates are modified.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Gautam, correct me if I'm wrong.
No,
So
you're right. Yeah. Reports can be customized.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So again, if you see here, this is the roster page, and the information: name, employee ID, attendance, grade, passing status, and score and completion status can be updated by the instructor. They can do it by individual or by group also. If they want to do it by group, they have to just click select all and perform attendance status here and what grade they want to give it. They can select and just click go and save it. And if they want to see the employee information, they just need to hit the employee name here so that they can see the employee picture, ID, employee ID, department, relationship, and status, and from which learning environment. When it says learning environment, it's nothing but business unit. Okay. In ELM, business unit is equal to learning environment. So manager and his address, his or her address. So any questions on this? Okay.
No, I think that was good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So that is view schedule. So mark attendance. So if you want to give the grades and attendance as I shown you in the roster view schedule page from the print roster page, it is similar functionality. You just you filter the courses here and you give the grades and attendance to the courses or classes or programs. Okay. If you see here, I can see the learning class information, class code, type, and start date, and how many people have been enrolled. You can see the number of learners here. Okay. You can see all the learners. Straight away you can hit the roster, and you can see the roster page. Class information on the roster page. Okay. So roster page consists of a lot of information here. The enrollment status, if you see here, class roster and class component. For that particular course, how many components you have. If you want to see the component information, you can just click details so that you can see the component information and the learners information. Okay, I've already explained this page earlier, so I'm going back to it in the previous page. So if you hit roster here, there are other pages also. You see enrollment status. Now if you hit the grades and attendance, you can update the learners grade and attendance and score. And if you want to write comments for each and every individual learner, you just hit the comments field. Okay. As an instructor, you can provide the comments for a specific learner. And if you want to see what else you have in the other tabs for the instructor, just click learner details. You can see the learner name, his ID, his or her ID, and job title and status and payment. If you feel that the payment information is wrong, or if you want to modify it as an instructor, you can edit the payment. Okay. Again, if you want to give this access to instructor, you can give it. If not, you can remove the access to instructor. Again, this is driven through PeopleSoft security. Okay. Again, the next option you have is view all details. You can see all the information together. All these three tabs together: enrollment and grades, attendance, and learner details. Okay. You just select and give the grade or attendance status, completed, attended, and these learning status are translate values. You can add statuses based on your requirement. Again, not grade is also translate value field. You can add those translate values, and then you can update the status accordingly.
Okay, and how do we develop a new class?
Okay, I will take you through that as an administrator. So I'm done with the instructor. Instructor doesn't create any courses or new classes. It's just who performs the sessions. Then he completes the statuses and he completes the grades and attendance status for the classes which he has taken, but he never creates the courses.
Can that permission right be granted to instructors?
Yes, if you want, you can give it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So that's again, it's a PeopleSoft security, right? So if you want to give the access to any role, you can give the access.
Excellent, thank you.
So the next title is, instructor preferences. What is his teaching preferences? What is his or teaching preferences? What is his expertise? They can write down. And what is the language code they can deliver, and what kind of delivery method types they have, and what is the teaching location preferences for this learner. They can add it here. If you want to add a location, you can add that. Just hit that magnifier. You can see the locations access what he has to. Then he can add those locations. Okay. So any questions on instructor preferences?
No, seems pretty good.
Yep, thanks.
Yeah. So again, so this is learning instructor. So we are done with learning instructor. Any questions on learning instructor page?
No, I think we're good. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. So I'm signing out. So we are done with employee self-service, manager self-service, and learning instructor. So the next big feature what we have is talent administrator. That is nothing but learning administrator. Okay. So I'm logging in as a talent administrator. So if you see here, there are multiple features what a talent administrator access to. He can be an instructor, or he can be an employee, he can be a manager, or he can be a talent administrator, or he can collide all the navigations into one learning center collection so that you can see all the information on this one. So I will take you through talent administrator roles, what he can do, and what actions he can perform. I'll explain that as well. Okay. So talent administrator is a learning administrator from your business unit or from a department. If you want, you can give that access. And talent administrator access can be provided by roles, the page level security also, and the row level security. In ELMS, row level security is driven by learning environments, not similar to PeopleSoft HCM row level security. It is different. Okay. So this is a learning administrator tile, and you can see what all learning administrator can do. I'll show you the pages. So learner tasks. So learning administrator can enroll learners, and he can administrate the class roster. Just like an instructor, he also can perform the same tasks better than instructor, So this is enroll learners option. So I will start with the course creation process. Then I'll take you through enroll learners. Then group enrollment and mass enrollment feature. Okay. First, I'll start with catalog courses and creation. So in ELMS, this is the hierarchy. First you create the categories, then you create the courses, then you create the classes, and then you create the sessions. So this is the hierarchy. So once you hit the maintain categories, you can see what kind of category it is. It's communications, leadership and management, business skills, customer service and quality. Based on the category, you define the course and you attach that course to a category. So that if, for example, if a manager or a learner who wants to search by category, they can search by category. Okay. So that is the
and this is driving the indexing and searching by learners.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, Mike, you're right.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you create the course category here. What is the category name, and what kind of status it is. For every category, you can create an owner. You can assign an owner so that he will get notified if there is any change on this category. That particular owner get notification. For example, if you add a new relationship here, category relationship, subcategory for that particular category, then that particular owner gets notified. Okay. It's not a required field. It's just an optional, to make sure that particular category is owned by a specific department or a specific business unit or by company, then you have to assign a owner so that they can have a track on it. Okay. So relationship is, for example, you may have communication skills as a category, but if you want to add some subcategories like verbal or written communications, then you add a subcategory. It's a child category like that. Or skills of career development, as explained here. You can add those relationships here so that if a learner or a user, if they want to search, if the example they search with SkillSoft, they can search anything which has been attached to this particular category under this category courses also. Okay, so they can view both, but again the courses will be viewed by the learners or by the users based on the access they have been provided in the ELM. So I'll explain how that works. I'll show you that as well. So if you see here, this is parent category, and what are the courses assigned to this category? You'll see all the courses here. If you see here, there is no add option here, because I'm sorry. So anything which is once a course is created and once that particular course has been attached to a category, that course automatically will be displayed here. If you want to see the course information, you just click course here information, course link, then you will be navigated to the course details page. Okay. So if you see here earlier, you don't have any security for categories. When I say no security, in the sense categories can be globalized. These are globalized. Once a category is created, everyone in the organization can see the setup of the category, not the courses. This is a setup task. I'm talking about ELM administrator setup tasks. Okay. So if you see the page, there is no specific security here. But when you go to courses, you see the security tab. Okay. So that is maintain categories. So any questions on maintain categories? Please stop me if I'm taking a bit speed.
Oh, go fast. Go there. You're good. Go. Keep going.
Thank you, Mike. So maintain courses here again. If you want to create a new course, just click add a new value. Okay. So you have to create the course long name, short name, and the course code. The course code can be automated. When I say automated, a system will be generating a new default code by incremental order. This is setup again, installation setup. If you want to do it in an automated way, you can select that. If you don't want to do it in an automated way, and if you want to do it a manual process, you can do that as well. But again, if you do a manual process, if you are creating the same course code, or if you are duplicating it, system will throw an error message. Okay. So I will not take you through in detail of each and every field, but I'm explaining the high level, what are the advantages and benefits of the course information. Okay. So you can write the description of the course and what is the abstract of this course, you can write that. If you want to add any approval type for the courses, then you can add the approval types here. Okay, these are the delivered approval types. You can do that. You can use them and then you can add it. Okay. And what kind of offering it is? It's internal or external course. You have to select that accordingly. If it is internal, it's within your organization. If it is external, it's outside your organization. Like you're giving training to a third-party business, then you can select this course as an external, and then you can train them. Okay. And you can see the prerequisite. Okay, I think I didn't save it. So yeah, I'll take you to the existing courses so that it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, see here, this is the communication etiquette information, and this effective date, you need not mention that it should be a current date. You can create a backdated course also, but the classes should be either current date or future dated. Okay. So these are the prerequisites. For example, if you want to attend an XY, accounts receivable related course, then what is the prerequisite for that course? So basic accounting is a prerequisite. So if you want to add a course, prerequisite course for that, then you have to define that under prerequisites. So there are two options here: required prerequisite and recommended prerequisite. So when you say required prerequisite, that user has to complete that required prerequisite course, then only they can be enrolled to this course. If not, the system will throw an error message saying that you haven't been enrolled to so and so prerequisite course. So recommended prerequisite is nothing but information purpose. Okay. So for example, equivalents, if you feel that there is any equivalent course, then you can add that course here, so that if someone wants to enroll to this communication etiquette, and if they see this communicating shared business already completed, then they need not enroll to this course. Like that, you can add any equivalent course to this existing course information. And notes and attachments. If you want to add any attachments, third-party related attachments also in the particular course, which have been outsourced or which have been brought from external sources, and you want to add those course content into this course, then you can attach those files here. Okay, so that users can see the files in the course details information page in employee self-service or manager self-service. Okay.
Pradeep, how would I understand that this is also course development for, let's say, a classroom-based course? How would one import a SCORM zip file to create a course?
SCORM zip file has to be imported onto file server. Then that particular course content has to be attached at the component level, not at the course level. It has to be attached at component level. I'll take you through that again. Where you can attach that stuff, I'll show you that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, this is the notes and attachments feature, security. For which learning environment? As I explained earlier, learning environment is nothing but a business unit in ELM. Okay. So for which learning environments you want to give this access, you have to attach them here. Okay. And if you scroll down here, learner groups. Learner groups are nothing but a combination of a learning environment, or a department, or a learner, or a customer, or a vendor, or a supplier. If you want to add them in a learner group, you can add them into a learner group, and then you have to assign that learner group to this particular course. Okay. If you see here, there are multiple learner groups: employees, Asia Pacific, direct sales group. A business-wise learner group also can be created, like HR, financials, or HR and finance combination, mix and match. Based on the access or based on the requirement, you can create those learner groups and assign them to these courses, so that they can access when they go to employee self-service in Find Learning or manager self-service team learning. If you want to give that access to that specific group of employees or group of audience, you have to assign this learner group. Then they view those courses in those Find Learning pages. Okay. Any questions on security? I know I know it's a bit new, but later on you'll understand. Yeah, that is how the course details page, basic data, prerequisites, equivalents, attachments, and security. Any questions on this total course details information page? Okay. So as I explained earlier, attributes. For example, if you want to categorize, as I explained earlier, right, maintain categories. So if you want to add this course under a specific category, you can add that here. Okay. So this communication etiquette, this particular administrator wants this course to be part of communication category. If you want to add a new one, you can add that again. So I cannot do these changes because of historical information. If you want to delete it, you can delete again. Again, keywords. For example, why these keywords is, if you want to search specific course using keywords, just like the way we do it in Google search, similarly you use the same keywords and attach them here, and then accordingly you can search them in the Find Learning page. So that Elasticsearch will be used based on the keywords type in your search. And the next feature is objectives. So objectives is nothing but, for example, if an employee or a learner or a user is going to complete this course, what are the objectives of this course to be achieved by those users? So you can attach those objectives here. And if you see here the proficiency level, so service orientation, for if an employee completes this course based on the course content and the information of this course, you decide what is the proficiency of that particular objective. Okay. So I'll explain how it works in the later stage in the integration part. I'll show you, I'll explain how the objectives can be updated to the learners. I'll tell you that in that particular slide. Okay. So if you want add, you can add the objectives. Okay. And if you want delete, you can manage that. An administrator can manage that stuff. So delivery method, if you see here, these delivery methods can be configured based on your need. For example, the Oracle defined delivery methods are, self-based or web-based learning, blended learning, classroom learning. These are the translate values which Oracle has delivered. If you want to add a new delivery method types, you can add them. Okay. Like, course code delivery method. If you see here, these are the delivery method types. If you want to add in your own defined delivery method type, you can add them and you can use them in your organization. Okay. So if you see the delivery method types, there are multiple delivery method types. Classroom training, blended learning is nothing but it's a combination of classroom and as well as webcast learning. Okay. So if you have any external vendor training, then you select external vendor schedule, or external vendor self-paced like Oracle training related stuff. Then you select external vendor self-paced learning. So online training, which is provided by third-party vendor, then you select this stuff. So again,
we don't, if we can skip past this, we really don't need this.
All right, thanks. Yeah. So that is delivery method types. So we discussed course details and delivery method information. So once that is done, so I explain the delivery methods and classes. So for every course, you need to create a class. Then you attach that class to courses. Okay. If you see here, you can see the course name and the delivery method type and the class start date and end date. And if you mention just start date and you leave the end date also, that course will be open for long. If you don't want to close, then you just keep end date blank. Like that, approval type as I explained earlier. For course and class, it's required. If you don't want a approval type for class, then you select none. And if you want to give an AWE to specific course, then you have to select a AWE type here, approval type. Is administrator, again, administrator, if you need a special approver, apart from the one who approves as per the direct reports to approval hierarchy, you can add an additional layer here, special approver. And you can add the instructor information and what kind of, how the course and what language you're going to deliver, you can select that. So rest of the information is like nothing but, enrollment, how many enrollments you can add, and what is the minimum enrollment, what is the maximum enrollment, and when you can add the reminder days, how many days before the learner should be get reminded of the particular course, what is the reminder template. It's just notification template. You use the existing notification templates. There are 69 templates. You can use anything and you can add the reminder days and how many days you want to publish, how many people you should be enrolled, what is the reservation category. For example, if you have a specific department requirement and that department says that I need only 10 people to be enrolled for that course, you can add a specific department information as well here. Okay. So this is at high level, the waitlist information can be captured, how many days before a drop can be handled, what is the grades and attendance. You want to do auto mock completion. Once the course is being completed, if you select the checkbox, the completion will be automatically completed. Okay. So if you want to give access launchable from history, then again, as I shown you earlier in the current historical learning, you can see the launch button, right? If you enable this feature, then only they can launch from the history like that. So again, the security part is same as course. You have to add the learning environments and the learner groups also. So that is the course information, class details information. Again, the learning components is nothing but number of sessions you add in the class. For example, there is a 2-day session class, first day and second day. For each day, morning session and afternoon session will be there. So for 2 days class, you may have 4 sessions. So if you want to add the session information, you can add the session information here. Okay, if you want to edit it, you can edit that.
Hi Pradeep, this is Gautam. So in the interest of time, if you could tell different methods of enrollment and integration, so I would like to give people a chance to ask questions because as Mike said that there is a hard stop.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
Is that fine, Mike?
Yeah, actually I still would like to see how do we develop a SCORM e-learning type course.
Yes, so that's what I'm going to show you that. I'll show you that and then I'll take you through enrollments. So when you hit this, you can add the information type here, okay? For example, let me pull up. If you see here, there are multiple ways of, updating the learning content here. For example, the compliance is none here. You just want to share the URL of that particular course, you just add the URL. If you see it is SCORM and AICC, then you have to set the SCORM compliance here, what kind of SCORM compliance it is, then you set the SCORM compliance and you hit the manage content and you can upload the CSV file here. Okay, that's how you add as an administrator and upload the content for online courses.
Thank you. And user group development?
User group development? I'm sorry, I didn't get that, I'm sorry. You mean learner group development?
Yes, user group development. How do I develop users, groups of users based upon fields from the HRIS system?
Okay, I got it, okay. So this is learner group page. Either one, you can create a learner group by, criteria learner group or query based learner group. Query based is nothing but the PS query we use in HCM. You can create a similar PS query in ELM also, and you can create those learner groups in ELM using that queries here. Okay. So criteria based is nothing but what kind of criteria type. For if you want to select a specific business unit, you select the business unit. Okay, and if you want to.
So Pradeep, can you stop at this drop down for now? Just click on the drop down, please.
Yeah.
So Michael, so these are the available criteria types delivered by ELM, and so like you can group by business unit, country, customer, department, job code. So do you think that these criteria would meet your requirements, or do you guys need some more in terms of grouping?
I need a lot more. I currently develop groups based upon up to about 35 to 40 different custom fields. Okay, either they're embedded system fields or they're custom user fields that we've utilized from PeopleSoft as part of the import on employee profiles. So I will need an unlimited number, preferably, to be able to add to this list.
So at my previous client, and Pradeep has more experience than I do, but we actually added a couple of more groups. It was a customization. So unfortunately, PeopleSoft doesn't provide some user-defined fields, but it can be possible through customization. So Pradeep, do you have experience of creating groups outside of this list?
No, that should be a customization, not through delivered process. It should be a customization.
Okay, so developing a user group based upon any one of the 35. I need to be for an employee profile. I need to be able to import about 35 to 40 different custom fields from PeopleSoft. All right. So if you're telling me that I cannot develop groups based upon any one of those fields, we have a problem. so I will need them without having to customize or additional fees incurred.
So Mike, you mean to say that there are some custom fields in your HR and you want to use them in ELM, right?
That is correct.
Mike, those are 30 custom fields we have in PeopleSoft, or are they delivered fields in PeopleSoft?
There are some that are developed that are just systemic fields, you know, first name, last name, and so on. But yes, we have about 30 or more custom fields that are in PeopleSoft that we do import into the LMS today.
So if they're in PeopleSoft HCM, why can't we bring those into PeopleSoft ELM?
That's why I'm asking.
Oh, that wasn't meant for you. That was for the SphereMC group.
Gautam, I think we can import those fields through.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, you know, the app messages.
Yeah.
And then I need to be able to develop user groups based on the fields or combinations thereof.
Yeah, so I mean, Mike, so basically, yes, it can be done, but it will be a little bit of customization. But definitely, you know, if the fields are there in HCM, and we can modify the messages that send data over from HCM to ELM. And, you know, once data is in ELM, then we can develop groups using those.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, because I was concerned, I mean, if they're in PeopleSoft, they should be able to be brought over then.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why it's the same system, so that's why I kind of figured. That's fun.
Yeah, so you can use once you import those fields, you can use a PS query, and you know you can build a query based on your requirement. Yeah, you can attach the query to the learner groups, and you can pull those employees.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is about learner groups. So I'll be skipping the admin task now. I'll take you through the enrollments feature. So what kind of feature enrollments you have. I'm not going to show you that in the application. I'll show you how the feature works like. Okay, so I already showed you the self-enrollment, how an employee enrolls himself through employee self-service to find learning. Okay, so again, the enrollment by managers, I have already shown you how the managers can enroll. Okay. The group enrollment and mass enrollment, I'll show you at high level in the application. Okay. So this is the page where you know an administrator can enroll the learners. Okay. You have to select the requester name. So you can select Betty Charity, and you can select the course based on the access you've been provided, or you can search by specific course. You can hit this course, click enroll, and you can select the individual learners or learner group, or by organization name, or by employee ID, or by business unit also. Okay, you can select that learners. When I select the learner group, it's kind of mass, it will be converted into a mass enrollment. Okay, for example, this one is the employees group. It will show you a warning message. This is a group enrollment warning. So this selection yielded 300 learners. So this particular group has more than 30. It is more than 30, and it's equal to 300 learners. So it will show you a message. If you want to schedule using mass enrollment, just click schedule mass enrollment. Or if you want to just click continue, you can continue for the group enrollment, and it will select only 30 members like that.
Yeah, it'll still let me, I mean, there are times when I have to assign something to the entire, you know, organization. We were talking 33,000 people. So yeah, I'm going to need the ability to do to mass groups.
Yes, you can do that. So like, you know, as I explained earlier, you can add all the learner groups into one group, you call it as organization, and then you can attach that particular learner group to this course, and you can enroll all the employees to that particular program or course.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, so this is the mass enrollment page, and you can see here, you can see the learner information, and you can just click, you know, if you want to override any approvals or override prerequisites, the administrator has access to this stuff. Okay, and once you hit that, you just click continue so that all the learners will be enrolled. So that is how the mass enrollment or group enrollment feature works in ELM. Any questions on this?
No, that seems pretty intuitive. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So automatic enrollments is based on your HCM job changes. For example, if you hire a new employee and the status is new hire, and if you build the policies in the ELM based on new hire, if you want to enroll those employees to a specific program or course, you attach those courses or program to the build policy, then those learners will be automatically enrolled to those new orientation program or XYZ courses after new hire. Okay, so that is automatic under enrollment feature. Any questions on this?
No, thank you.
Yeah. So this is the snapshot of employee self-service page. How the enrollment page looks like, and this is a manager's page. I already shown you this stuff. So this is about, I'm talking about the automatic enrollments. So, and the other feature what you have is drop and termination. Again, this is used by analytic framework using PeopleSoft analytic framework. The learners can be dropped if they have been terminated from the organization. So if those learners are in these statuses, enrolled, pending approval, waitlisted, or in progress, those courses will be automatically dropped. Okay?
Yes, correct. Yep, thank you.
Yeah. So the next piece is HCM integration. PeopleSoft HCM integration, I think Gautam also worked on this, so he knows more information. What information can be translated? Profile information, department information, hierarchy, HR, job, competencies, person data, everything can be translated from PeopleSoft HCM to ELMS. Okay. And if you see the arrow here, update competencies and certifications. So this will be done as I explained earlier, right? I was showing you the proficiency level for each competency and objectives. So for example, if an employee completes the communication skill at a proficiency level of 5, but his profile management shows his proficiency level as 4. Okay, in that case, once the employee completes the course, the automatically proficiency level will be updated in HCM in profile management for those learners.
Okay.
Any questions on this?
Nope.
Okay, this is Outlook integration. I think I'm sorry for that. So Outlook integration, again, if you have Outlook add-in in your organization across all the computers, then you can use a desktop integration, desktop Outlook integration with ELMS, so that automatically whenever the learner enrolls to a course, that will be added to the calendar. Okay, there are two things. One is desktop Outlook integration, the other one is iCal. Okay. If you use complete desktop integration, you need not use iCal, and there will be no any attachments to that course. Just right away, it will show you the way displayed here. It will show the course information and it will be added to your calendar. If you use iCal feature, then it will show you as an attachment, and the user has to click the attachment. Then they have to add it to the calendar. Okay. So this will be done through the once they run this regenerate appointment process. Once the process is run, the notifications will be triggered to the employees and the users, and they can accept the invitation so that calendar will be updated with that course information. Any questions on this?
No, thank you very much. We do have to have a hard stop. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, so we are done, almost done. That's it.
Great. All right. Yeah. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I appreciate the time.
Yeah. All right, Mike. And any follow-up, let us know. I'm actually, I'll be getting together with Gary next week at the Collaborate conference, and it'd be helpful to hear, how, what your thoughts are on this, and if there's any other follow-up that we can get to you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for your time and your expertise in, of course, answering our questions.
All right.
Demonstration.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah. All righty. Bye-bye.
Thanks.